Good morning, guys. In today's video, we're going to be discussing how we read more. Now, let's get into the absolute basics, okay? You think to yourself, oh, I want to be a bit smarter. I want to inform myself on the topics I'm interested in. How do I go about it? You can research things on Google or Google Scholar or, DuckDuckGo, search engines that you can research whatever questions you have. Answers just like that. 21st century, guys. Welcome to paradise. Anyway. Maybe you want to read a book. Now, this is what this video is about. How to read more books, get more pages in, and, just improve your cognition ability as well as information retention and everything else. I'm not waving this knife around as a threat. I'm going to cut a mango. So, I'll get straight into it. Now, the tips I'm going to provide for how to read more are most suited to anyone who feels like they want to read more and you want to know more, okay? Let's get into it then. So, how do we read more? First things first, we're a minute into the video. Pick books you're interested in. If you're force reading, right, if you're literally there like, sod this book, this is so boring, you're making it harder for yourself, and we don't really want to make something that we're not quite accustomed to even more difficult than it ought to be. So with that said, my first recommendation is pick books and topics that you are genuinely interested in. Now my second tip is one that I've heard a little bit about, but I feel like it is somewhat unconventional in the sense of if you don't read, you're probably not going to know this. It is absolutely best, in my opinion and the opinions of others, to read books on and off. And what I mean by this is, okay, let's say on Wednesday the 2nd of August, you think to yourself, okay, I'm really interested in psychology. Yeah, you're interested in, say, visualizations and success psychology, all sorts of things like that, right? Perhaps even things like mindset and any area of psychology you're interested in that on the 2nd of August. So why would you pick up a book on animal biology when when in that moment you're curious about, I wonder how mindsets work. I wonder how many different types of mindset there are. I wonder what kind of mindset I have. If you then go and look into something that you're genuinely interested in, you're going to A, retain that information better, B, you're more keen to learn, so you're more encouraged to read because, well, of course, it's what's interesting you in that moment. And it's a no-brainer. The thing is, school, especially for me, I feel that when I was in school, I'm UK-based, so I went to a UK school. They teach you read a book front to back, every page, do some bullshit annotations and, this could mean this and this could also mean this. And no. You read all sorts of nonsense novels about nonsense you don't care about and you do it in a nonsense way. Why? In what world do you have to read a book like that? You don't. If you want to read about, one of the books I'm reading currently is Deep Work by Cal Newport, right? So why would I read that front to back when there's parts of it I'm not interested in today? I've read that book for 15 minutes while I was drinking my coffee before the gym. I'm going to talk to you guys about slotting it in and allocating time for it in just a moment. But I only read this morning a segment of that book that I care about, which is, actually implementing the methods of deep work, right? It's just like learning about a specific part of the book. So when you open the book and there's a contents page and you can see, what's on what pages and chapters and stuff, you don't have to, if you want to, you can read the book front to back. It's up to you. But if you're just getting into reading, my best suggestion would be that you open a book where you want to know and then go from there. Let's say you want to know about psychology, about like success psychology and visualizations. So you open up Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz and you go to page, I don't know what page it is, like 133, and it's about visualizations. Yeah, let's just say. I don't think it is. You open that page up, you read half an hour about visualizations. You've got what you wanted to know from that book, and you haven't had to read the first 132 pages before that. You got the bit you were interested in today, you've read those pages, you've allocated that time, you've learned because you're interested in it, and best of all, it wasn't a struggle. You know, sometimes when you're reading something you're not too interested in, it is actually a bit of a struggle. You're sat there and you're getting distracted, and maybe you look at your phone and you're just thinking to yourself, oh, well, this is boring. If you read the bits you're interested in, you're going to make it a hell of a lot easier for yourself. So that's one of the things. You don't have to read the books front to back. Now, another bit of advice I'd give, which I've just touched on slightly, is to allocate the time. Find a time that works for you to read and set that in stone. Build it as a habit and strengthen that habit over time, okay? So, for me, I wake up, I have a cold shower, I sort my room out, I make a coffee, I read for about 45 minutes, around that, no longer, and I go to the gym. That's my Monday through Friday routine, as long as nothing gets in the way, which sometimes things do. However, for me, nothing normally gets in the way of that. So if you can find a time in your day that you think, all right, well, I always really get about half an hour now, so maybe half an hour before bed, I'd recommend that strongly, because most people can allocate a half an hour before bed, unless you're getting in from work at like 10 o'clock and you need to be up the next day at like 8. So unless that's the situation, but I'm sure even if that is the case and you've still got to get up for work at 8 tomorrow, you will be able to find time should you want to. If you want to find that time, you will find that time. Okay, because I guarantee if you're struggling to read and you're not getting through as many pages and books as you would like to, I almost guarantee that you still have a screen time of over an hour. So if you've got an hour to look at your phone, you've got an hour to look at a book. You may be saying, well, Taylor, I don't want to look at a book for an hour and sacrifice an hour of socialising on my phone. Well, sod you then, because you may struggle to read as much. Of course, that's in the event that your schedule is very busy and you don't want to lose that 1 hour. But for most people, they have time, they just allocate it poorly. And I'm not saying my time management's amazing. Oh, I've left my notebook upstairs. My time management isn't spot on. I have certainly developed it over the last few months by setting daily goals and setting, long-term goals as well, of course. But my daily goals just keep me in the loop of doing all the activities that are going to leverage me in the future. So if you figure out, all right, I want to get in awesome shape, you're going to allocate time to eat right, track your calories, go to the gym, get enough time to recover, maybe ice baths, stretching. You're going to allocate all that time because it's the goal. That is the end goal. I want to look awesome. So that's the end goal. You do all the bits towards this end goal. Reading's no different than the gym. You've got to progressively overload. Let's say you haven't read for a while. You left school in 2020 and you haven't read for 2 years. So maybe don't start by trying to read for 4 hours in a day, because you'll either burn yourself out or you'll unmotivate yourself. Maybe you can just go straight into it. This is just for general people. I feel as though, I think that if you're trying to get into reading, progressively overload, right? Same with the gym. You're not going to go in and do a 4-hour workout. You'll do a 1-hour workout, half an hour workout. You'll build it up. So that's it really. I recommend picking books you're interested in, allocating the time for it, and going about books not as though you have to, start to finish it. Go what you're interested in. If you want to read the whole book, all right, hang on, I've got a book on the table, right? One book I'm reading at the moment, I think I've got 3 or 4 on the go at the moment. One of which here, this is called Life, Liberty and the Pursuit of Entrepreneurship by M.J. DeMarco. This guy also wrote Millionaire Fastlane. I'm going to read that at a separate time. So that book there, I'm thoroughly interested in it. So I'm start to finishing that book, and I find it it's an easy book to read for me because I'm interested, and I think the way it's written is nice. And so I'm not struggling to read that front to back. But 48 Laws of Power, that was a nightmare. I tried to read that front to back, and in the end I stopped doing it. I got about halfway through and I thought, nah, I'm just going to pick the laws I care about now, because otherwise I'd have given up with it. And that's how you can come back to a book. Like, you haven't got to, the way school drills it into us is read the book start to finish, make your notes, and research the author's motives as to why they, school sodded it, in my opinion. Because when I left school, I didn't read so much. I didn't have the ambition to read, didn't have the ambition to learn, because they almost try and squeeze out any level of curiosity or critical thinking. That's a separate conversation. We're talking about reading. Don't worry about me ranting about the school system. So those are my top 3 tips for getting through more books. I hope you found this helpful. I'm just making my eggs for breakfast. I haven't even cut that mango. I've been too busy talking to you guys. So I've got my mango here, I've got my eggs. I've got 11 eggs today. Big knob of butter, lol. And yeah, I've got the mango. What else is for breakfast? Oh, I've got some juice. I'll have some juice as well, get a glass out. But that's the video, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you found this helpful. Just read more. Start with 15, 20, 30 minutes a day. Build it up, progressive overload. All of a sudden, you'll be banging through a book in every minute. That's absolutely not true. Reading takes time. You've got to allocate the time. But as I say, guys, those are my top 3 tips to read more. I think it will help everyone. I went through a stage of not reading at all. You know, I was quite academic when I was in school. And we left school. I left in when I finished my last year of secondary school was when COVID happened. So we all got told, oh yeah, stay at home, learn at home. Learn at home. I was just playing video games. There was no way. But yeah, like I stopped reading for a while, and then I've gotten back into it. But it's not one of those things where you can just pick it up. It's like, as I say, it's like the gym. You're not going to go into the gym and start deadlifting 200 kilos straight off the bat. Same as you're not going to go reading a book a day if you haven't read for a little while. So just progressively overload it, pick things you're interested in, and have a student mindset, all right? Which would be, I want to learn about things I'm curious about. I don't want to force ingest information based on ego or whatever other reason you feel like force ingesting information, right? Read books you're interested in, allocate the time, and read smart. So don't read like making it difficult. Okay, that's the video, guys. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.